From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, June the 6th, 2022. Two Palestinians were arrested in Tel Aviv early this morning, with Israel police saying there were concerns they may conduct hostile activity. The two who had entered Israel illegally from Nablus in the West Bank were taken for questioning by the Shin Bet, Israel's security agency. Some rioting was reported yesterday in Jerusalem's Old City as Jews were allowed to visit the Temple Mount area for the holiday of Shavuot. A group of Palestinians barricaded themselves inside the Al-Aqsa Mosque and threw stones at Israel police. No injuries or arrests were reported. Israel police tweeted later that while there is complete freedom of worship for Muslims on the Temple Mount, earlier this morning a handful of rioters from within the Al-Aqsa Mosque once again desecrated the sanctity of the mosque, adding right now quiet and calm on the Temple Mount. Well, reports today that U.S. President Joe Biden may be postponing his trip to Israel, which was planned initially for later this month. The Times of Israel cited two officials, one American and one Israeli, saying that the trip, which will also include a visit to Saudi Arabia, has been pushed back to July, citing more time needed to plan the visits as the reason. The Times of Israel also reporting today, citing a report in the Wall Street Journal, that Saudi Arabia is engaging in serious talks with Israel to build business ties and create new security arrangements, citing an attitude shift among young people in Saudi Arabia in favor of normalization with the Jewish state. 25 members of Congress, Democrats and Republicans, are asking U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken to urge the Palestinian Authority to provide access to the bullet that killed veteran Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh last month. Abu Akleh hit inadvertently during a gun battle between Palestinians and IDF forces in Jenin. In a letter spearheaded by New Jersey Democrat Josh Gottheimer, who is Jewish, the bipartisan group writes, without access to the bullet that the Israelis have requested as part of an independent investigation, it is impossible to determine all the facts. This obstinate position serves no one and will preclude any final determination of responsibility. Telling Blinken, we urge you to ask the Palestinian Authority to provide access to the forensic evidence in Abu Akleh's death for an independent investigation so that all parties can reach a definitive conclusion about the events leading to her death and hold all parties accountable. The Jewish Agency for Israel announced its new leader in the U.S., Isabel Nadler-Teplitsky, who will serve as president of the Jewish Agency for Israel North American Council, the JAFINA. Teplitsky most recently served as campaign director of the Young Leadership Division of the UJA Federation of New York. She was quoted in the agency's press release Friday saying, I'm deeply interested in the relationship between North America and Israel, Zionism and philanthropy. I hope to be an important asset to the Jewish Agency and look forward to both learning from its senior leadership and engaging a new generation. The 55th anniversary of the Six-Day War is being commemorated this week. The momentous battle took place from June the 5th through the 10th of 1967. And we have special programming this week for you, including tonight here on JBS. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight, Monday, June the 6th. At 7 o'clock, Eric Goldman speaks with Shani Rozanes about her documentary on the life of Golda Meir. And at 7:30, Eric is joined by Meir Gerner, one of the actors in the new film Africa. At 8, Bret Stephens and Yossi Klein Halevi discuss the Six-Day War and their personal connections to Israel. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with former Israeli U.S. Ambassador Dani Ayalon, who recalls what it was like to be a young boy in the harrowing days preceding the Six-Day War. At 10, historian Simon Shama speaks at the 92nd Street Y. And coming up next, I speak with Dorian Barak, co-founder of the UAE-Israel Business Council. who discusses the historic trade agreement signed last week between Israel and the Emirates. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, June the 6th, 2022. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.